EF Entrepreneurship Forum and the UBA-sponsored marketplace. Thank you.
I can't express how excited I am in words to be here and to be selected among the 1,000.
It's the opportunity for me to realize my dreams. So I go into business and start to make my way.
It challenges you to do things you never thought you could do.
Maybe if you had gone to a private school or an MBA, you must have paid a lot to get this kind of, enlightenment.
Ça me fait plaisir de voir des frères et sœurs qui veulent se rencontrer, se connaître, et partager et créer un réseau, peut-être le plus grand réseau africain.
Venho de Cabo Verde.
Je suis tunisien.
Je viens de la République du Bénin.
I'm from Edo State, Nigeria.
I'm from Ghana.
Zimbabwe.
Sudan.
From Rwanda.
Gabon.
Uganda.
Senegal.
Niger.
I'm from the Gambia.
Welcome and thank you for coming to Lagos. If you want to feel the essence of entrepreneurship in Africa, the buzz of opportunities, and the heat of competition, come to Lagos. Can you feel it?
The Tony Elumelu Foundation was founded in 2010 to help empower African youth, to help institutionalize luck, to help democratize access to sustainable living. This is born out of my belief and experience that the private sector has a key role to play in developing our continent. And it's so gratifying and truly amazing that in one's lifetime, in a short period of time, the dream or the vision is coming through.
In his pursuit of driving Africa's economic development, Mr. Elumelu launched a $100 million decade-long commitment to empower African entrepreneurs through the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. The program is designed to identify entrepreneurs that have the potential to grow their businesses, create 1 million new jobs, and contribute at least $10 billion in additional revenues to the African economy. To help achieve Mr. Elumelu's vision, the foundation is supported by the prestigious investment firm Heirs Holdings and by one of the country's oldest institutions, United Bank for Africa, which operates in 19 African countries.
UBA's successful impact in helping to create infrastructure and foster intra-Africa trade is helping the entrepreneurship ecosystem that the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs are leveraging on to actualize their economic aspirations. So I see it coming together, and the team at the Tony Elumelu Foundation have been very gracious in supporting Africans. The leadership, the CEO, the amazing lady I call the mother of entrepreneurs in Africa, they are just blazing. What drives them and motivates and keeps them up at night to make sure they deliver is not necessarily because of the salary they earn, but it's the fact that they are part of a tectonic movement to change the face of Africa through entrepreneurship.
I have always wanted to impact Africa. So finding Tony Elumelu was like finding a pathway, and we are seen as doers, not just talkers. I believe in the vision, I believe in the dream, and I know that Africa's time is now.
So Mr. Elumelu, in a way, changes the narrative through the foundation, and I wanted to be a part of this.
Here was someone who was willing to actually put his money where his mouth is. You know, the opportunity and the privilege to work with that is amazing.
And his commitment to empowering young people like us, really, it comes through very strongly.
So it started from, a small team, and now it has grown phenomenally. So that is really, really important.
In the first 2 years, the foundation has provided $10 million as seed capital funding to the 2,000 selected entrepreneurs across Africa to support their businesses. In addition, the foundation has invested over $5 million in building the technology infrastructure content, and marketing of the entrepreneurship program.
I get to oversee the online platforms that will cover email marketing, the website, social media platforms. It's almost like a personal relationship with these entrepreneurs where I get to hear how the things we're doing in the foundation is transforming their lives.
And we're very appreciative to our over 500 mentors across the globe who stay up at night when necessary to support these entrepreneurs. So what we're trying to do is, to us, the essence of Tony Elumelu Foundation, not just about giving capital, is giving capital, you learning how to manage capital, because if you manage $1, you learn and know how to manage $1 billion. The Tony Elumelu Foundation has achieved a lot, and I see this in the faces of young Africans I meet with, I interact with when I travel to countries, who have seen the Tony Elumelu program grow from first year 20,000 applicants, second year 45,000 applicants, and it's amazing what you see, the energy you see, the hope that has been brought back to these young Africans, the can-do spirit, and they are just yearning and eager to do more.
To select the best candidates, the foundation developed a clearly defined selection criteria against which the application will be evaluated. The foundation also engaged Accenture development partners to ensure transparent application selection process. Among those 2016 applicants, agriculture is remarkably still accounting for over a quarter of all sectors, plus female entrepreneurs now represent 36% of all applicants, up from 24% in 2015.
We all know the challenges and barriers that are faced by women in the world at large, and especially in our own environment, so they need to believe it's possible. Things are changing, they just have to be disciplined, they have to be focused, they have to believe that there's nothing they can't do.
When we did the first round of Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs and we saw that female participation was less than 30, I wasn't happy about it. I personally tweeted on social media, I got a lot of people involved and said, let's increase the participation. And interestingly, in some northern African countries, some countries you would think that will not have female participation at all. You won't have female leading. So it's a fantastic development. I'm very happy about this.
To complete their training, the 2016 class came together at the annual Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Forum, where they connected with business leaders and policymakers.
It's the second time I attend this meeting. I feel even more fever and enthusiasm.
This forum is the largest gathering of Pan-African entrepreneurs. A fantastic opportunity for entrepreneurs to test and showcase their business ideas.
I want to provide rural areas in Gambia that have completely no electricity, access to electricity, and that's through solar home systems.
We are into branding, digital marketing, and consulting.
Restaurant of Beauty is all about creativity out of our African prints.
We show the world the beauty in Nigeria, the best destinations you can imagine.
My business sector is in water treatment and supply.
Je suis dans l'agro-business, dans la production et la transformation de tomates.
We want to see a Ghanaian interact with someone from South Africa, also someone from North Africa, interact with someone from Kenya, and let them build economic ties. Ultimately, people do business with those they are comfortable with those they know. And nations and people who have economic ties don't go to war. So we need to begin to unite Africa from this point of view. The future leaders of Africa must indeed have platforms that bring them together.
Focusing on the uniqueness of the Foundation's approach to entrepreneurship development, His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, President of Sierra Leone, hailed the program as a genuinely innovative approach to philanthropy in Africa.
Let me begin by commending Mr. Tony Elumelu for creating this great opportunity for Africa's young entrepreneurs. I applaud your initiative to bring together political and economic leaders to work towards widening the sustainable economic development in the continent.
As a trustee of the Tony Elumelu Foundation,
My commitment to all of you is to keep the foundation and the program going, to support you on your entrepreneurship journey, to open doors for you. You must fulfill and indeed surpass the expectation of the Tony Elumelu Foundation that is investing so much in your future. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Rise up to meet it. I wish you all a wonderful 2 days of learning and networking.
I want to take this opportunity to really welcome you all from the bottom of my heart. I cannot tell you what a great pleasure it is to see you physically, having lived with you for the last 9 months online. You are building the biggest network of African entrepreneurs and African businesses. You're here also to obviously learn from those who've been through the baptism of fire. All the speakers, the international delegations who have come, many of them have traveled at their own expense to come to Lagos because they can feel that African entrepreneurs are on the rise. Yeah, they have come to experience firsthand what it is to engage and speak with the entrepreneurs directly.
I'm inspired just being here. Okay, so my name is Emmanuel. I'm a Nollywood actress and filmmaker. Female filmmaker. And you all know how difficult it is. You always have to work twice as hard, especially when you're working in an industry that is male-dominated. But you know, we keep doing what we're doing, and we keep excelling. And there will always be pushbacks, but don't let anything stop you. As long as you've identified that thing or those things that you want to do, just keep at it. There is not one day that goes by that I don't do something that would advance me in my craft.
If your goal, your dream, your idea is not daunting enough, that means it's too small for you. In all the things you need to do to grow, to capacitize, and to scale up, you need financial institutions. UBA is ready, is steady, and available to work with you all the way.
My assessment is entrepreneurship inheres in Africans. The movement of goods in hundreds of years ago from, say, Kano to North Africa and the Mediterranean could only have been entrepreneurship. So what the foundation has done is to catalyze the existing and nascent artisanal practices of Africans and to direct it into its area of focus.
This forum has been a stage for that. I've been able to network with so many great minds all over Africa. I got the opportunity to meet with the richest woman in Africa, Mrs. Alakija.
Many may see the grace and the glory, but they may not know the story. As an entrepreneur, never, ever take no for an answer. It took 15 years from the time that we were awarded the license in 1993 to 2008 when we struck first oil. This is one of the hallmarks of an entrepreneur, the ability to take risks. And to succeed, you must always make sure that you plan. Stay focused. And sooner than later, you will strike your oil. Thank you.
What kind of ancestor do you want to be? Money is not what's going to answer that question. Money is a means to an end. If you are African and you're not talking 100 years ahead of yourself in this world, then you have failed. If you think that you can be wealthy and 10 people around you are going to be poor, you are in trouble. You have to make sure that you create ways in which all the people around you are growing as you are growing.
And when I was growing up, we used to revert to the mantra of the African forefathers: Sankara, Nkrumah, Nyerere, Nasser, Mandela. They had a vision for an Africa where Africans were creating African solutions to African problems. Almost 60 years later, you are living that mantra. You are here today because you are creating African solutions to African problems.
I see myself in their eyes. And I'm like, wow, it reminds me of like a few years back I was. And I know what it means to have someone sit with upcoming entrepreneurs and share his experience with them and make them relate to him.
We realize and recognize that in these parts of the world, we have a bit of a disadvantage. I can't go and meet my uncle and tell him, 3 angels appeared to me, I saw this, blah, 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 and I need $10,000. So that base infrastructure that is required to give entrepreneurs a boost is the reason why we have this program. And it's important that you take advantage of that money because it's the seed. I know people in the last set that used the capital that we provided well. I also know people who did not use the capital that we provided well. The difference for me between the two, it boils down to how well you take the things you've learned in the last couple of months. A lot of planning, a lot of discipline, right? And you being focused on what you want to do. Believe me, you can do a lot with the $10,000 if you plan well. Cash is king. And in order for you to generate cash, you need to create value.
With this, I have a vision, I have a redefined value proposition, and I believe that in the next 5 years, we'll be able to cover the whole of Africa.
I was a polo player till about a year ago, and I wanted to come back to Nigeria, and so I wanted to build a polo club. And then I went to the banks the first time to try to get a loan. And I was told that it's 29% interest rate, and I was like, that's ridiculous. And so we wanted to build something to help entrepreneurs. And so we decided to look into crowdfunding, which equity crowdfunding. And we started a platform called Malike. And so from trying to build a polo club, I ended up building a finance company. So sometimes when you're frustrated with something, just come up with something to solve it yourself.
There are more and more funding opportunities in the last few years, but what it lacks is the empowerment of entrepreneurs. We need to have more entrepreneurs, more risk-taking, young people that are willing to forego a well-paid job in a multinational organization in order to go and start their own companies.
I am Group CEO at United Capital PLC. We're a leading African investment banking group. So in a couple of years' time, when your businesses continue to grow as they are growing, and you want to raise capital from the capital market, we will be available to advise you. And we are currently engaging with the Elumelu Foundation with a view to having incubation fund as a solution in the near future for entrepreneurs like yourselves.
You see, my job was a parachute. So I said, you know what? Cut the damn parachute and just jump. I wanted that parachute gone because it was hit or miss. So people kept on saying it wasn't going to work when I first started, but I believed that it was going to work. Some people say, why do you have partners and how do you choose the partners? And some people say they've been cheated before. Have you ever been cheated before? Put up your hand. Have you ever cheated before? So you see that errors are made and mistakes are made. I knew I didn't know it all by myself. So maybe the first lesson is that you need to understand that everybody has the strengths and the weaknesses. Because you see, sometimes you have to give up something to get something that is bigger eventually.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you the two general overseers of the marketing ministries.
I'll be talking to you today on the topic, the softer side of selling. Listening is at the core of empathy. And you know, salesmen and women, sometimes we don't listen because we have our products ready-made and we want to shove it down the customer's throat. When a customer is saying something you know is right, that your product or service is not able to offer, integrity says, oh, you're actually right, but I'm going to go back and do some research. There are people that have acted better movies, but we didn't know about them. There are people that have better products, but nobody knows about them. So selling is fundamental. In fact, your first title, thank you, your first title is the Chief Marketing and Sales Officer.
For instance, you're selling software as service and you've not launched into the market. How do you substantiate?
Have you bought books? you don't know the author, and all you did was look behind the book to see what others have said about it. And the book had not come out. But in that process, they get people to read and make what? Comments. So in your beta testing phase, you can give somebody to say, test this product, tell me what you think. Do you mind if I use your testimonial? That is credibility that you need in order to sell your product. Thank you.
Based on the fact that all products have some level of flaws, how do I present the information to the customer?
Focus on your strengths. Products are not perfect, services are not perfect, but focus on your strengths. Don't talk about the weaknesses. However, if they bring it up, you have to be honest.
Sir Chika Onya, can you be my mentor? Immediately.
The great news about somebody like me, I never turn a request like that down. So the answer is in the affirmative, yes. And that's immediately.
He talked about the soft part of sales, and I'm into soft skills. So he kind of helped to reorientate my idea about my business, and I feel that with such people like that in the industry of sales, marketing, and training, I think my kind of industry has a potential in Nigeria, in Africa, and of course in my local community.
And after each session, breaks and sector-specific discussions are also key for entrepreneurs to create opportunities for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and development of their business ideas.
Up to 30% of African medical drugs are counterfeit. Now, I came up with a system where in every point of sale, they check the legitimacy of that product, which again brings the problem. Why is it that when we deliver these medical products, everyone questions it, like, is it legitimate now? Are you guys okay?
I'm a consultant medical entrepreneur. I want to solve one of your problems. I've been able to mingle with people in my field of business. And so this forum has availed me of the opportunity to meet other entrepreneurs who, at the end of the day, would supply me floating fish pellets. And I'll be able to subsidize my cost of production. What more can I ask for?
All entrepreneurs are either technology enabled or they are tech entrepreneurs, companies like Microsoft, Google, all of the tech companies need talent, and Africa is a home for the new ICT talent,
Shani is the Nigeria director for Andala. When Zuckerberg came to Nigeria, the $25 million he invested in was all over the news. So share some nuggets, even if you're not going to share some dollars.
I've worked within software, outside of software, big company, small company. I've started businesses from scratch, and then I've also helped to grow and advise companies. There are things I've learned that are extremely important. The first one is around building for a purpose. Statistics show that 40% of employees around the world have no idea what their company's mission statement is. So they go to work every day, but they have no idea why they're there. On the flip side, when you look at companies whose employees do know their mission statement, they have a 30% higher performance on average than their peers. And I think one thing that the biggest driver of success for Andela is the fact that everybody at Andela knows our single purpose. It is to create the future leaders of Africa. The second is around hiring a team that is fit for purpose. If you look at the people that work at Andela today, we have super geeks that just want to code. We have people whose dream and passion is to build amazing products. We have people who actually want to lead. We have people who want to do operations. So our interview process is one of the most rigorous I've seen. Let someone say yes, maybe you applied. But it's deliberately so, because each time you bring a new person into your team, you're basically changing the course of your company, right? So imagine putting Messi or Ronaldo as goalkeeper. They'll either leave or they won't perform.
Now, I am going to call on Mr. Obinna Ezeke, and he needs no further introduction. I just need to say waka now.
My experience booking a flight here was actually terrible. I had to go to the airline's office. I didn't really have a bank account in Nigeria, so I had to transfer money in to my friend's account, my cousin's account. I had to get the money cash. The whole process was very tedious and lacked transparency. So I did a lot of study, and I tell people in this room, the entrepreneurs, if you're ever going to go into anything, you must actually spend a lot of time studying about the field in which you operate. You have to benchmark yourself against the best in the world. The most important thing is to find a solution for your own local community. So when we started building Wakana, it was about finding the solution for what the issues that the Nigerian traveler faced.
I have a challenge. I am the co-founder of InnoCrave Solution. We're bringing green technology cleaning to Africa. Our technology is steam technology at its best. Imagine you cleaning your car, no water on the floor, no soap, no chemicals, and it's better than the conventional way. But guess what? The people in Kano, they see it and they're like, no water, no soap. Without water, without soap, it's not clean. So how do you use new technology to convince a developing market?
I think you don't force new technology down people's throats. There is what you call the new technology adoption life cycle. There are different people who are prone at different points in time to the new technology that you're bringing to the market. In my case, some people see online grocery shopping and immediately warm up to it. So what you're supposed to do is to identify those people and go after them. You have to think about who you're reaching and focus on those. As you saturate them, you move to the next segment and gradually work your way through.
This platform kind of gives a leverage to want to do more, think more, create innovative solutions and value for businesses all around Africa, all around Nigeria, and as far as it can get.
Online collection allows payments by anybody from any part of the world to make payments to you in your own currency where you are doing business. So I can be in Ghana selling cocoa to people in Nigeria or Uganda or Kenya and be collecting my money in cedis, even though the Kenyan just paid me in shillings. The system has capability to convert to the currency that you can use to continue to do your business. And you can also have a bank like UBA that can allow you to use all other bank branches to take cash collection for you. And you will have line of sight to electronic record of such collections. And at this point, I want to wish you excellent learning through the session to become good Afro-capitalists.
First, we need to understand the philosophy of Afro-capitalism. This is a realization first that the private sector has a role to play in the development of our continent. And a call, therefore, realizing this, that the private sector must come forward and be involved. For so long, we've been blaming government for everything. But okay, let's team up, bring resources together. And it's a call on the private sector to invest long-term in key sectors of the economy that can help to drive and the economy, help to transform the economy while creating economic profit and social wealth for everyone. So if you make or we make an investment in the power sector, there's profit motive, but at the same time, it helps to improve access to electricity on the continent, which has a lot of positive externalities for everyone, which will help entrepreneurs to succeed.
Afro-capitalism advocates for the private sector in Africa to take the lead, private sector including you entrepreneurs, to invest long-term in strategic sectors. Strategic sectors meaning that your focus is not only on extractives, your focus is not only on how much can I make in 1 year, in 30 days. Strategic sectors meaning that your capital deployment is patient. You're prepared to create not only economic profits, but social good, social prosperity, social wealth in the process. And our founder has been able to illustrate, prove, exemplify that you can do those two things at the same time. You can create social good while making record high profits. I invite you to transform the world through Afro-capitalism.
So at S Holdings, for us, we know that we have to be profitable, but more importantly, we know we have to impact mankind, humanity, in a sustainable fashion. What we do through the Elumelu Foundation is to make sure that this economic philosophy that will help us to develop as a continent is inculcated in the minds of young entrepreneurs who are coming up. And if you look at our eligibility criteria, we always ask people to tell us, if you look at the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, we say, tell us which of them that your initiative will be able to address.
It's amazing what they've achieved in just such a short time, just because they got that seed capital and the structures in place. They now understood how to do their business plan properly, the marketing, the networking. They've seen the importance of all those aspects of their business, and they're very successful. So I really do believe that if we continue this as we are going to for the next 8 years, we should create our 1 million jobs.
Before we joined the Tony Elumelu Foundation, we had a turnover of $20,000, $30,000, and we saved a lot of money. We took the money that we had from Tony Elumelu and we invested wisely, and today we did $1.6 million last year. Thank you. Last year this time I was sitting somewhere around here, and all I had was a dream, and when I heard all the speakers up here, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to do what I can to get my business off the ground and be disciplined at it. And today here I am talking to you. So a lot can happen in a year, right?
I think back then I was young and naive, I failed many times. And I went through the 12 weeks training program. And then just like you, we came for the boot camp. And then suddenly everything started making sense.
When I tell people my business is a year old, they are like, wow, are you sure? But the secret is the training I got from Tony Elumelu Foundation. And I'm to them. My web developer is a fellow Tony Elumelu entrepreneur. Jamal, I saw him around. Yes, he's over there. He's my web developer. So he has been able to
That's why we have teamed up with other leaders. You have Obasanjo there, you have the president of Sierra Leone, President Nkrumah. You have some state governors from Nigeria, Zizu.
Let me give you a flavor of some of the reforms that we've done to support entrepreneurs like yourselves. It takes only 6 hours to start a business in Rwanda, and it's free. To you entrepreneurs, your time is valuable. We would rather have you sitting and coming up with good ideas and implementing them, not running through government bureaucracy. Ultimately, our goal is to nurture entrepreneurs who have the courage to go beyond conventional methods of doing business. This is why we very much commend the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program. Through such initiatives, we can uphold the vision of a bright future for all and unlock our greatest potential. Thank you.
I have no doubt that the weight of this foundation behind you, success is guaranteed. With insecurity and corruption also being tackled, the enabling environment is being created for businesses to thrive in the country. We hope when the time is ripe, young entrepreneurs like you will take advantage of these opportunities.
Abia is unarguably the SME capital of Nigeria because we have 100,000 young men doing shoes, and they have asked me to tell you that just this week they got the first order this year to supply 50,000 pairs of shoes to the Nigerian Armed Forces. On this note, once again, I want to charge you like young eaglets to go forth and conquer the world bearing the signal of excellence by Tony Elumelu. Thank you and God bless you.
It is your genius and talent that have brought you here. But to become champions and successful businessmen, you will have to again work and work hard. And in your quest to success, ask yourself, how can I, through what I have decided to do, impact my environment? What can I possibly bring to my community? This is the prototype of entrepreneurs that I dream of for my continent. Thank you, Chairman Elumelu, for sharing your light so that African youth can shine. Thank you very much. Good luck to you, and God bless you. Thank you.
I think they can certainly begin to evangelize entrepreneurship and really talk about it positively. The place of the entrepreneur in the Indian society and economy has changed, yeah? And that's because the government has really put a lot of effort in making it, in celebrating entrepreneurship, in the same way as America does it, yeah? Similarly across Africa, they should take a leaf out of Tony Elumelu's book, who celebrates entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs.
And look at, again, the president of Sierra Leone. You cancelled all appointments and flew to Nigeria to be with these entrepreneurs. Why? He realized, like us, the future of Africa lies in these young ones.
I am honored to be part of this revolution of self-reliance and innovation in Africa. Infrastructural development is central to Africa's march to economic growth. My government has embarked on extensive infrastructural development to improve on our roads, access to energy, water supply, the internet, and other vital enablers that support the efficient operations of business. To all of this year's awardees, a hearty congratulations. I hope that among you, we will have the new Tony Elumelu in Africa.
Tony and Mrs. Elumelu, I think we all owe you a debt of gratitude. We have to make doing business in Nigeria very, very easy. We have to create conducive environment for people to want to do business here. We have to invite them. We have to induce them. We have to make them wanting to come to Nigeria.
You are a very interesting generation. You are a digital generation. You are a disrupting generation. But you are not the average millennial. You are African millennials, which is something different. Because in terms of innovation, We are number one in some technological niches. We are number one in digital payments. We are number one in some social usage in health. You will be the first generation to be able to say, through all your own efforts, Africa is now first in many domains.
I think we can't thank Mr. Tony Elumelu enough. Yesterday, we were in the same room with the President of Sierra Leone, Prime Minister, Nigeria, ex-President, and all these wonderful, young and energetic Africans. We can't thank him enough. And we are promising him that we are not going to let him down.
This week, Lagos is the entrepreneurship capital of Africa. The reason we are gathered here today is to fulfill the two Tony Elumelu Foundation promises. The first promise is to invest $100 million to identify, train, mentor, and seed 30,000 of you in 10 years. The second is to improve the enabling environment for all African entrepreneurs, and I'm happy Lerato and our leaders have talked about this. It's a continuing process. We want to create our own Mark Zuckerberg from Africa in you. My heart still carries with me the entrepreneurs behind the 65,000 ideas we couldn't select. We need to come together to do something about it. No one but us will develop Africa, so we need to look within, especially those who are blessed and endowed, to see how we can share prosperity. Because ultimately, it is not how much we have in our bank account. What counts when we're all gone from this world is the legacy we leave behind. The way we give must be such that helps us to create self-sufficiency, self-independence, self-dignity, that helps us to become fishermen and not keeping up perpetually begging or waiting for the next handout to come.
It's been fun, it's been learning field, and it's been beautiful.
We have to take our dreams now back to our countries and make them into reality.
On a tous le même idéal, c'est de construire l'Afrique.
Profite pour aussi encourager mes frères, les autres entrepreneurs africains, les startups, de faire comme nous.
Tony Elumelu trouxe para mim, como para todos os companheiros aqui, esperança. Eu passei 5 anos a lutar para desenvolver o meu negócio, mas o financiamento é muito difícil e com a oportunidade em Tony Elumelu Foundation veio trazer esperança.
With the resources that's made available to me, I'm going to work hard to also help other Africans in my community in Liberia, where I reside and do business, so that they can be able to have the same access and be better and stand as their own.
Et d'ici 10 ans, Inch'Allah, on sera une grande multinationale qui transforme le flux.
I hear stories of how people are transforming their communities already. And to me, that is a true validation of what the foundation is doing, a validation also of our chosen approach to intervene. So the foundation should be satisfied that we indeed have orchestrated a movement on the continent of entrepreneurship.
And this movement continues to gain momentum each year with the third round of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program receiving from 54 African countries a staggering total of 93,000 applications, including 39% of female entrepreneurs. Just as in 2015 and 2016, agriculture is still decidedly leading the sectors with 27%.
92,000 hopes have been dashed, so to speak. It doesn't leave us happy. We wish we had more. If we had more, we would even do more, we'll take more. And to those people I say, don't give up. The Tony Elumelu Foundation, myself, We're reaching out to the rest of the world and fellow Africans too who are endowed to come and take some from this pool of 92,000 who are not successful. We need to do something about this, because imagine if we were able to assist these 93,000 people to become entrepreneurs. In 10 years' time, even if 10% succeed, big, that would be transformational.